dayalu jagata sansare. Patita pavana hetu tabaravatara mosama patita prabhu napaibeyada. Mahi. Give me a nectar devotion, nectar devotion. Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balokana Kodo Ami Bodo Du. Kripa Balokana Kodo Daya Kodo Sitapati Advaita Gosan Tava Kripa Bale Pai Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Ha ha sarup sanatana rupa ragunata vata juga sri jiva Prabhu Srinivas Lokanath, sorry. Yuga Prabhu Lokanath Daya Kodo Siya Chaja Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottamadas Caitanya Prabhu Daya Kodo More Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagata Sansare Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Daya Kodo More Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagata Sansare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giribada Dadi. Ajashoda Nandana Braja Jana Randana. Ajashoda Nandana Braja Jana Randana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Randana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariragavacharya Tatada Sisi Madhabai Chanan Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Today, text 108 of the 15th chapter of Madhya-lilā. This is a very famous verse and purport, very, very difficult technical subject matter, and not so easy to give class on, but we will speak according to our realization and not get too complex and keep it simple as far as possible. I'll explain some of the principles that Prabhupada touches on. It's quite a long purport, but if we try to stay awake and listen carefully, I may ask you some questions at the end. Please turn your phone on silent. Thank you very much. Diksha Purascharya Vidhi Apeksha Nakade. Jiva Sparaset A Chandala Sabada Udhare. Diksha Purascharya Vidhi Apeksha Nakade. Jiva Sparasa A Chandala Sabada Udhare. Bolo. Diksha Purascharya Vidhi Apeksha Nakade. Diksha Purascharya Vidhi Apeksha Nakade. Jiva Sparsi A Chandala Sabare Udhare. Jiva Sparsi A Chandala Sabare Udhare. Diksha Purascharya Vidhi Apeksha Nakade. Diksha Purascharya Vidhi Apeksha Nakade. Jiva Sparsi A Chandala Sabare. Ladies. Diksha, initiation. Purascharya, activities before initiation. Vidhi, regulative principles. Apeksha, reliance on. Na, not. Kare, does. Jiva, the tongue. Sparase, sparashe, by touching. Thank you. Achandala, even the lowest of men. The Chandala. Chandala is a dog eater. Got you. Sabare, everyone. Udare, delivers. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. One does not have to undergo initiation or execute the activities required before initiation. One simply has to vibrate the holy name with his lips. Thus even a man in the lowest class, Chandala, can be delivered. Okay. I'm going to read the purport from beginning to end, rather than stop and through, and beg your attention. I'll try to read generally swiftly. Okay, please try to pay attention. It's a very, very interesting purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Jiva Goswami explains Diksha in his Bhakti Sandarbha 283. Divyam Jnanam Yato Tajat Kuryat Papasya Sanksyayam Tasmat Dikshesti Sa Prokta Deshikais Tattva Kovidai. Diksha is the process by which one can awaken his transcendental knowledge and vanquish all reaction caused by sinful activity. A person expert in the study of the revealed scriptures knows this process as Diksha. The regulative principles of Diksha are explained in the Hari Bhakti Vilas 2:3-4 and the Bhakti Sandarbha 283. As stated, Dvijanam anupetanam svakama jayanadisu yatadikado nasti ha shach chopana yanadanu tata tradiksatitanam tu mantra deva chanadisu nadikado styata kuryad atmanam shiva sangstutam. Even though born in a Brahmin family, one cannot engage in Vedic rituals without being initiated and having a sacred thread. Although born in a Brahmin family, one becomes a Brahmana only after initiation and the sacred thread ceremony. Unless one is initiated as a Brahmana, one cannot worship the holy name properly. According to the Vaishnava regulative principles, one must be initiated as a Brahmana. The Hari Bhakti Vilas quotes the following injunction from the Vishnu Yamala. Adikshitasya vahamuru kritam sarvam niratakam pashuyonim avapnoti diksha vida haito jana. Unless one is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, all his devotional activities are useless. A person who is not properly initiated can descend again into the animal species. Quick question, has anyone noticed something so far? Nice and loud?
What I've noticed is the purport appears to contradict the...
Yeah. So the verse is saying you don't need initiation, you don't need to do previous reformatory processes or anything. You just vibrate the holy name of your lips. And now, immediately, Prabhupada's quoting all these verses which say you have to be initiated. So this is the first dichotomy. Great. So you're paying attention now a bit more. Good. Okay. Hari Bhakti Vilas 210 further quotes. Ato gurum pranamyaivam sarvasvam vinivejacha gri niyad vaishnavam mantram dikcha purvam vidanata. It is the duty of every human being to surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. Giving him everything, body, mind and intelligence, one must take Vaishnava initiation from him. The Bhakti Sandarbha 298 gives the following quotation from the Tattva Sagara. Yata kanchanatam yati kamsyam rasa vidanata tata dikcha vidanena dvijat vam jayate nrinam. By chemical manipulation, bell metal is turned into gold when touched by mercury. Similarly, when a person is properly initiated, he can acquire the qualities of a Brahmana. The Hari Bhakti Vilas 1711-12 in discussing Purascharya process quotes the following verses from the Agastya Sanghita. Puja Traikali ki nityam japas tarpanam evacha homo brahmana bhuktischa puras charanam uchate guru labdasya mantrasya prasadena yatavidi pancangopasana siddhai puras chaitad vidiyate. In the morning, afternoon and evening, one should worship the deity, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, offer oblations, perform a fire sacrifice, and feed the Brahmins. These 5 activities constitute Purascharya. To attain full success when taking initiation from the spiritual master, one should first perform these Purascharya processes. Next paragraph. The word Pura means before, and Charya means activities. Due to the necessity of these activities, we do not immediately initiate disciples in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. For 6 months, a candidate for initiation must first attend arti and classes in the Shastras, practice the regulative principles, and associate with other devotees. When one is actually advanced in the Purascharya Vidhi, he is recommended by the local temple president for initiation. It is not that anyone can be suddenly initiated without meeting the requirements. When one is further advanced by the chanting Hare Krishna mantra 16 rounds daily, following the regular principles, attending classes, he receives a sacred thread, Brahminical recognition after the second 6 months. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas 1745-7, it is stated, Vina yenana siddhasyan mantro vasa shaterapi kritena yena labate sadiko vanchitam palam. Purascharana sampano mantro hi paladayaka ata puraskriyam kuryat mantra vit siddhi kanksaya. Puraskriya hi mantranam pradhanam viryam uchate viryahino yata dehi sarva kama suchana chamasa purascharana hino hi ta mantra prakirtita. Translation: without performing the Purishacharya activities, one cannot become perfect, even by chanting this mantra for hundreds of years. But one who has undergone the Purishacharya Vidhi process can attain success very easily. If one wishes to perfect his initiation, he must first undergo the Purishacharya activities. The Purishacharya process is the life force by which one is successful in chanting the mantra. Without the life force, one cannot do anything. Similarly, without the life force of Purishacharya, no mantra can be perfected. Okay. How's everyone doing? Good? Okay. Okay, this is the last big shloka. We have to chant it because it's there. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do this. In his Bhakti Sandarbha 283-284, Srila Jiva Goswami describes the importance of deity worship and initiation, Diksha, as follows. Yajyapi Sri Bhagavatam Mate Pancharatra Di Vat Archana Magasya Avashyakatnam Nasti Tadvinapi Sharanapachyaya Dinam Ekatadinapi Purusata Siddhe Abhihit Tatvat Tatapi Sri Nadadadivat Manu Saradibhi Sri Bhagavata Sahasambandha Vishesham Diksha Vidhanena Sri Guru Charana Paditam chikisadbi kritayam diksayam archanam avasham kriyetaiva yajyapi svarapato nasti tatapi praya svabhavato dehadi sambandena kadarya shilanam viksipta chitanam jananam tat sankochi karanaya srimad rishi prabritibir Atrachana marge kvachit kachit kachin maryadasta pitasti. Translation: it is Srimad Bhagavatam's opinion that the process of deity worship is not actually necessary, just as the specific prescriptions of the Pancharatra and other scriptures do not have to be followed. The Bhagavatam enjoins that even without practicing deity worship, one can achieve the complete success of human life by any of the other devotional processes, such as simply offering oneself at the Lord's feet for his protection. Nonetheless, Vaishnavas following the path of Sri Narada and his successors endeavored to establish a personal relationship with the Lord by receiving the grace of a bona fide spiritual master through initiation. And in this tradition, the devotees are obliged at the time of initiation to begin engaging in deity worship. Although deity worship is not essential, the material conditioning of most candidates for devotional service requires that they engage in this activity. When we consider their bodily and mental conditions, we find that the character of such candidates is impure, and their minds are agitated. Therefore, to rectify this material conditioning, the great sage Narada and others have at different times recommended various kinds of regulations for deity worship. Similarly, the Ramachana Chandrika states, Vinaiva Diksham Viprendra Purascharyam Vinaivahi Vinaivanyasa Vidina Japa Matrena Siddhita Japa Ma. O best of the Brahmanas, even without initiation, preliminary purification, or acceptance of the renounced order, one can attain perfection in devotional service simply by chanting the Lord's holy name. Okay. In other words, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so powerful that it does not depend on official initiation. But if one is initiated and engages in Pancharatra Vidhi, deity worship, his Krishna consciousness will awaken very soon, and his identification with the material world will be vanquished. The more one is freed from material identification, the more one can realize that the spirit soul is qualitatively as good as the Supreme Soul. At such a time when one is situated on the absolute platform, one can understand that the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical. At that stage of realization, the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna mantra, cannot be identified with any material sound. If one accepts the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra as a material vibration, he falls down. One should worship and chant the holy name of the Lord by accepting it as the Lord himself. One should therefore be initiated properly according to revealed scriptures under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. Although chanting the holy name is good for both the conditioned and liberated soul, it is especially beneficial to the conditioned soul because by chanting it one is liberated. When a person who chants the holy name is liberated, he attains the ultimate perfection by returning home back to Godhead. In the words of Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Madhya-lilā 773, Krishna mantra hayate habe sangsara mochana, Krishna nama hayate pabe Krishnera chadana. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. Last two paragraphs. The offenseless chanting of the holy name does not depend on the initiation process. Although initiation may depend on Purascharya or Purascharana, the actual chanting of the holy name does not depend on Purascharya Vidhi or the regulative principles. If one chants the holy name even once without committing an offense, he attains all success. During the chanting of the holy name, the tongue must work. Simply by chanting the holy name, one is immediately delivered. The tongue is sevanmukha jiva. It is controlled by service. One whose tongue is engaged in tasting material things and also talking about them cannot use the tongue for absolute realization. Atasi Krishna nama di nabhavat grayam indriya sevanmukhi jivado svayam eva sparatyada. With the material senses, one cannot understand the transcendental holy name of the Lord or his form, activities, and pastimes. But when one actually engages in devotional service, utilizing the tongue, the Lord is revealed. As it is stated in the Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Madhya 15.108, Ateva Krishnera nama deha vilas, prakritendriya graya nahe haya swaprakash. The holy name of Krishna, his body, and his pastimes cannot be understood by the blunt material senses. They are manifest independently. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksusun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we don't have very long. That's the longest purport I've ever had to read in a class. So when we study Srila Prabhupada's books, when we engage with India and its ancient culture, when we go to India and we meet Brahmins and we visit temples, we find that there is a type of, almost you could say, a conflict between the understanding or the attitude or the outlook of the devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement with the traditional ancient systems of the Vedic culture that are followed in multifarious ways around India. And we find that if you study the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also came up against these different systems, and he actually was able to explain to the persons involved the superiority of this pure devotional service, or the direct service of Krishna. Anyabhilashita shunyam. Shunyam means zero or void of any idea, material idea, or spiritual idea. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, yoginam api sarvaisam madgyantanantarama, that the devotee of Krishna, one who performs devotional service in full faith of Krishna's position, he is the greatest of all yogis. So the other aspect which we're talking about is diksha, initiation. So one of the main things that I found in researching this is that the Vedic process of initiation, whereas one takes birth in a good family, goes to the Gurukul, gets initiated into the Brahma Gayatri mantra. As a child, they have this Upanayanam. A boy at 10 years old or 9, he gets initiated into the Brahma Gayatri mantra. It's called the Upanayanam Diksha. He chants this mantra 3 times a day, and at morning, noon, and sunset, and he learns about deity worship, purificatory principles. And then when he's older, he may receive full Brahminical initiation and become a pujari, or at least worship the deity at some point in his existence. This system is the Varnashram system, or the Pancharatrika system, where the initiating gurus were generally Grahastha Brahmanas. And what happened as time went on is that they claimed the rights to be Brahmins and the rights to initiate according to this system. And that is not the Vaishnav way, because the Vaishnav system is that anyone, anytime, any place, any country, any nationality, any varna, any status of life can worship Krishna. Just like anyone is qualified to take bath, anyone is qualified to take bath in the Ganges or Makara Sankranti at the winter time. Anyone can go and take bath. A dog eater, a pig farmer, everyone can go and take bath in the Ganges. So the same way, anybody can take initiation from a Vaishnav guru and receive the Hare Krishna, holy name of Krishna. And along with the holy name, he receives this knowledge that he's an eternal servant of Krishna, and his only business, are you taking notes or are you? Very good. So his only business as a spirit soul is to worship Krishna. This is his only business, actually. So in the reformatory process of the Varnashram system, one is not immediately purified. There is Purascharya Vidhi, as mentioned in the purport. Then, even after one receives his Brahminical initiation, there's further training and further reformatory processes are necessary before one becomes gradually purified to become a qualified Brahman, to know what is Brahman. Then after one knows what is Brahman, one can then gradually become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Tad janatas brahmetis paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabhyate. Generally, it is said that one cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, there is a direction that one gradually renounces material activities, chants Om, purifies his mind, and meditates on the oneness. And from this oneness, he may then appreciate the Paramatma, super soul in his heart, and from there he may become a devotee. But in the Vaishnava process, the purificatory process is immediately. And there's that verse which I don't have to hand, Shravanu Kirtanad, that even if one is a dog eater, if he chants the holy name of Krishna, he becomes eligible to perform Vedic ritualistic fire sacrifices, means he becomes a qualified Brahman. So the whole point is that the Vaishnava, his purification is immediate, and he immediately becomes qualified as a Brahmana simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, which implies that he's chanting the holy name of Krishna with this Sambandha Gyan. When you take association of the pure devotee, he not only gives you the holy name, but he gives you the knowledge by which you understand Sarvadharma Parityajam Mamekam Sharanam Braja, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and you're his eternal servant. This is the simple knowledge. Now, we say this so easily in our movement. It's all very apparent and obvious for us. But when we go to India, we meet people who are much more qualified than us in a Vedic sense. You know, they've been born into the Vedic culture, they've been trained as Brahmana, they can read Sanskrit, they can chant hundreds of shlokas, but they're not pure devotees. I'm personally, in my life, I went to South India for an Ayurvedic treatment, and the Acharya there was an unbelievably fantastic person. He spoke fluent English. He was actually a Goswami from Vrindavan, living in South India, running his Ayurvedic clinic. And he was like extremely intelligent. He would give lecture every day on the Dharma Shastra, Artha Shastra, and it was very enlightening and wonderful. And I had some exchanges with him, and he was a brilliant astrologer and Ayurvedic doctor. But he wasn't a pure devotee of Krishna. And in fact, he was a bit eclectic. Eclectic means that he liked to worship Hanuman, and he did some other pujas, and he was interested in fruit of results, and he was trying to ultimately enjoy the material world in different ways. So this is not the teaching of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, nor is it the teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what we have in ISKCON is people who are born into very low families. Actually, in Kali Yuga, everyone's pretty low, but they're able to understand, they've received this Vaishnava initiation by coming in contact with Srila Prabhupada's movement, and they're able to appreciate what is the Vastu Siddhi, or the substance, the essence of life, the essence of existence. Jivera Surupa Hoy, Nityera Krishna Chis. What is the Surup, or the ultimate identity of the self? And that is that he's an eternal servant of Krishna. And having understood this, we should perform devotional service to Krishna if we understand it properly. And the more we understand it with clarity, then more than we can offer more and more pure service to Krishna simply by chanting Hare Krishna. Now, this is actually the process. Hearing and chanting about Krishna is emphasized over all of the other processes, like worshipping the deity and ritualistic sacrifices. Vedeshu, yagyeshu, tapasu chaiva, dhaneshu, yat punya palam pradistam, atyeti tatsava midim viditva, upechi charja. That studying the Vedas, giving in charity, performing rituals, studying philosophy, all of these things are included within devotional service. One is not bereft of the results of all the other Vedic processes. They're all included in devotional service. So therefore, anyone who's intelligent will not bother with all the other processes, but will simply perform devotional service. And devotional service is characterized by chanting Hare Krishna and Shravanam, hearing about Krishna and his pastimes in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Sajja haraja avarujate trakriti bishushubi tachanat. No other process is recommended but the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam for complete self-realization. The only trouble is, for us in the West, having this knowledge through Srila Prabhupada is very, very straightforward because we're not contaminated by all of these processes that people inherit within Vedic culture. Like if you're born in one village, I understand in India, and everyone worships Hanuman in that village, then you're all Hanuman Bhaktas, right? Something like that. And that's your tradition. And because you want to enjoy the material world and be religious, sometimes the transcendental knowledge does not penetrate your brain, your intelligence so easily, because you have all these mixed up ideas. Whereas someone who's not got any mixed up ideas, coming from a completely non-spiritual existence, he can accept this simple truth that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Tada Mula Sanischaneina, that He is the root of all existence, the Mula. And simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Shatnama Krishna Charitadi Satapya Vidya, Pitopatapcha Rasanasya Narochikanu, Kintvadure Danidanam Kailasaiva Justa, Svadvi Kramad Bhavati Tad, Gada Mula Hantri. Hantri means to destroy, Mula, at the root, this material existence. Simply by what? Shatnama Krishna Charitadi. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Now, sometimes we find it difficult to chant Hare Krishna, or we need a spiritual empowerment. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was given this instruction, Bharate Bhumite Manusya Janmakara, Janma Sataka Karikara, Para Upakar, that you have to do this upakar, this welfare work, this preaching work to spread Krishna consciousness. And that's why you see that India has the potential to save the whole world. If the Indian people actually become Krishna conscious and preach Krishna consciousness, then they will actually benefit the world, which is suffering only for want of knowledge. Without knowledge of God and our relationship with Him, everyone is suffering miseries after miseries, because material world means very difficult place, Durga, Dukhalayam. It's a place of suffering because we're constantly getting old and dying and having so much suffering. Therefore, we need Krishna consciousness to enlighten us what is the purpose of life. And when we take to Krishna consciousness properly and worship Krishna, then bhajan kore, mutle kore, janme, bhajan kore, mutle kore, I forget, mutle janle hoy. Yes, that all your bhajan and your devotional service all tested at the time of death. Antakale chamameva. So if you chant Hare Krishna, you no need to perform all these other Vedic processes. Everything is included in this chanting. And if you have faith in this, see, the problem is we don't have faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we think we're the body. Therefore, we are under pressure. We put ourselves under pressure that we have to enjoy this world. Somehow we have to be happy in this world. But that's not possible. In this world, there's only suffering. The idea of enjoyment is just a mental idea. It's not real. So we have to surrender to Krishna for to be intelligent and utilize our life. Chanam, every moment we have to utilize our life. And if we hear about Krishna every day from Srimad Bhagavatam, chant Hare Krishna, etc. Now, there's so much in this purport. There's a lot about deity worship. But in summary, what we could say is that the Vaishnava process of initiation is independent of any material quality. Material quality of birth, purificatory system, even a dog eater, Kirata, Hunindra, Pulinda, Palkisha, that those born in races outside of the Vedic culture, the Mongolians, the Siberians, the Turks, everyone can become purified by the association of the pure devotee, who teaches this simple knowledge that we are Krishna's servant and that we have a duty, obligation to worship Krishna. Bhakti hinasya, that if you don't worship Krishna, all your Brahminical qualities, all your high birth, your aristocracy, your fame, your cleanliness, your wealth, everything, it's like a decoration of a dead body. It is useless. And ya esham purusham saksad. If one rises very high in the varnashram system, but fails to worship Krishna, padantyada, he falls down. So it's your obligation. Krishna is a jivasya jivanam. He's a self of the self. He's giving you everything. You have to worship Krishna. That is your obligation. That is your duty as a human being. So the whole point is that there is no obstacle, anyone. You see, I'll read this verse, okay, as a summary. As far as religious principles are concerned, please pay attention, there is a consideration of the person, the country, the time, and the circumstance. But in devotional service is transcendental to all these considerations. This is a summary of what I'm trying to say. And there's one more I wanted to say, if I can find it. Okay, last one. There is shodhana or purification of the mantra, but there's no such consideration for the Krishna mantra. Krishna mantra is so strong that there is no question of shodhana. And what does Vamana's guru say? Mantratam, mantratas, tantratas, chidram. Chidram means there may be some fault. There may be some fault in executing the ritual or the deity worship or your processes, religious processes. But when the holy name of Krishna is uttered, everything becomes perfect. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yuga Dhamma Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. So, if you go out on Harinam, if you spread Krishna consciousness, if you distribute books, if you go out and preach to people out there in the world, then you'll get empowered to chant Hare Krishna. This is the secret that Prabhupada's movement, that when you preach, you get a taste. Vasudevam Kata Ruchi, Mahat Sevam. When you do service to Mahat, Srila Prabhupada, he's the greatest Mahat. If you serve him, his mission, then you get empowered to chant and you get a taste for chanting and hearing about Krishna. If you don't do that, then it'll be very, very slow. You won't get a taste so easily. Very slow. But if you go out there and spread Krishna consciousness, immediately you'll get the empowerment. So I'll stop now. I don't mind. It's Saturday, so we're allowed to go on till 8:45, it says. So we have 10 minutes for questions, if there's any points of discussion. And I'll ask Govinda first, because he's a great scholar. We'll ask him to make some comment on this purport. Can you give him the mic, Prabhus? Who's got the mic? I need some water as well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your very stimulating class, and you put me on the spot. And I don't know what to say, to be honest.
That's okay. It's a bit loud. Okay. Don't worry. I mean, considering that this purport is very famous and there's a contradiction, you may have a comment. Can you sort that out? Is everyone sleeping today? Huh? Electric. Just speak loudly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117,
Prabhupada said real intelligence means, that's okay, we'll do it like this, it's fine. Holding contradictory views at the same time, balancing them. Prabhupada said that's what intelligence means. So we have to be intelligent to understand. You have to be intelligent to understand this purport, and there's two pitfalls. One is disrespecting Diksha because one is thinking the holy name is everything. And the other one is giving prominence to Diksha at the expense of the holy name. Both of them are, I guess one of them is Niyamagraha, one of them is Niyamagraha. But here's one of my thoughts. I sometimes see devotees who are actually very strict in their devotional service, and they have not taken initiation, they've not surrendered to a spiritual master. And the reason is they're waiting for someone who they feel is self-realized. And that's a very high bar. And I think I respect that particular, it's not my path, I respect that path. And therefore I think it's dangerous to look down on people who have not received initiation formally, because some of them are very actually absorbed in the holy name and they're reading Prabhupada's books, and so they're getting Divya Gyan from so many sources. So in that sense, they're getting Diksha in the Divya Gyan sense, but not in the formal sense. And I think we should respect these people because sometimes they're very inspiring. Sometimes they come to the morning program, they go out in Harinam, and I think they're very inspiring people. And yeah, that's my thought. And if you want to comment further, you may.
So, anybody else? Some comments? Questions?
I noticed one thing, the old edition and the new edition purport is very different. So there's been a lot of changes.
Is this the new one?
That's the new one, yeah. The old one's very different, and I think we have to get to the bottom of it. I'm not saying it's wrong, because I think it might be the case that the manuscript was not properly followed when they did the old version. There's a lot of extra bits.
I have got a question.
Yes.
Can I ask a question? Thank you. But wonderful class, and I did not understand anything. That's why this question comes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, Prabhupada mentioned one verse, Janmata jayate shudra, samskarat bhaje dvija, patpatan iti vipra, brahma janati iti brahman. So, how does that have anything to do with Diksha? That has got something different. So, Janmata jayate Shudra, everybody is born Shudra. Samskarat, when there are 16 samskaras, then he becomes Dvij, twice born. Then after that, Part Patan, what we are doing right now, reading scriptures, he becomes Vipra. And then Brahma Janati iti Brahman. So where does the Diksha come?
Yes, so Hare Krishna. So this was part of my trying to explain this difficult dichotomy that Srila Prabhupada says in one place that even after initiation, there's so many reformatory process, one goes up and up and up and up and up. But the goal of everything is to become pure devotee, fully surrendered to Krishna. So this Diksha process, this gradual process, is a Pancharatuka Varnashram consideration. But the Vaishnava process is immediate. Dog-eater, Chandala, someone unreformed, someone of rough character, like Mrigari the hunter. Narada Muni gave him Vaishnava Diksha. So this Vaishnava Diksha is different to the traditional Vedic Pancharatuka system. It's gradual. One is gradual and one is immediate. Because Vaishnava is very rare in human society. So it seems that they weren't aware of this principle of Shuddha Bhakti so easily. Although it's obvious to us, because we've had Srimad Bhagavatam given to us by a pure devotee. But within the Vedic culture, there seems to be a covering of fruitive desires desires to go to the heavenly planets. This is the first thing that Krishna says to Arjuna, that go beyond what the Vedas are offering you. He says this is like a flower in the sky. Yeah. So this is the first thing that Krishna says. First thing, go beyond what the Vedas are teaching. So it seems that the Vedic culture wasn't so straightforward that people understood what is Krishna, what is pure bhakti. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yes?
You had quoted one verse. In your talk, the verse was Kirat Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumba Yavana Kashada. In that one, Prabha Vishnave Nama. So I have not understood that one. Like if you just chant once, we become purified.
What's that last thing you said?
Prabha Vishnave Nama.
Prabha Vishnave means the pure devotee, the worshipper of Vishnu. He's able to purify anyone who comes in contact with him. And we see that in Srila Prabhupada's example. He's the greatest example of this Prabha Vishnave Namaha. He went into America and made cow eaters into Vaishnavas. So when they become Vaishnavas, this is an important point I forgot to mention, is that even though you're initiated into Brahmin in the Vedic system, still you have to do your Purascharya, you have to do your Vidhi, you have to follow the rules and make further progress. So don't think that when we give Vaishnav Diksha, that they didn't follow rules and regulations and then further advance. No. So within the Vaishnav Diksha is the Brahminical activities that you have to follow. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada doesn't give initiation immediately. Sometimes in other societies outside of ISKCON, you may meet a guru, he'll give you initiation straight away. He'll meet you in an alleyway in Vrindavan, start talking to you and immediately offer you Diksha. So this is not, Srila Prabhupada is not liking this. He's asking for 6 months, solid, like that. So the point is that don't think initiation is the end, it's just the beginning. One must make further progress by following the Vidhi, the Vaidhi Bhakti, and then gradually. But within the initiation is the seed of prema, love of Krishna. Within the faith in Krishna, bhaktya sanjayate bhakti. Bhaktya sanjayate bhaktya. That bhakti begets bhakti. So when you meet the devotee, get faith in Krishna consciousness, then your bhakti will grow and grow and grow. So this is the direct process, and it's recommended in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita by Krishna especially, because all of these different types of sacrifice, study, renunciation, detachment, giving up your wealth, is to all to achieve transcendental knowledge. Pavitram uttamam. This is the most jnanano vyasananam. In this world, there's no more wonderful thing than transcendental knowledge. So when you get this transcendental knowledge about Krishna, his pastimes, and your constitutional position as his servant, then you've achieved the result of all Vedic knowledge, Vedic systems. So if you get that immediately at the beginning, why bother with all the other things? Just immediately take to... This is what the Krishna consciousness movement is. It's about immediately taking to the pure worship of Krishna, unmotivated devotional service. And this is what puts you on a different level than these other systems. Does that make sense? Mataji, do you want to... Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare... Come, Darshan, Koro.
Sure.
Chalo. You can go up close. Come round. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for complicated things explaining very simply.
Thank you.
Actually, I just wanted to mention my realization, which you mentioned earlier on, that in India, we born, brought up there, and we are totally confused right? And when we come here and I saw Radha Gokulananda, and then I was watching everybody, how they are doing, performing everything. It was matching to some degree, but it was not quite what we, how we grew up. But then I asked the question to my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Charu Swami, and I said, I'm seeing all Westerners doing so many things and more or less right, but something not quite. Am I in the right path? That's the same question, actually, I did ask him. And he said to me, trust me. And which is very true, that, all these years I'm going on, just because it's one word, he said, you trust me. So absolutely, this is what it is. This is the right process, because I have gone through that.
Yeah, yes, you yourself,
I myself have
many
experience.
And ISKCON in India, when you meet someone who's been exposed to Srila Prabhupada's teachings, they are a completely different person to one who hasn't. So Srila Prabhupada is the missing ingredient in all of this. That when a pure devotee explains the Shastra, then everything becomes clearly understood. And without Srila Prabhupada, we'd all be confused in the darkness. Therefore, there's probably a verse there somewhere, how the pure devotee reveals the actual path.
Absolutely. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Thank you.
We have last. You want to ask? Go ahead, please. Silas.
Okay.
1 moment.
Well, thank you for clarifying the process and knowledge about initiation a little bit more. I'm quite new to Krishna consciousness, so that really helps. I'm wondering, why is it our duty to be Krishna conscious?
Why is it our duty to become Krishna conscious? See, we have so many duties. Like when you were a child, you were submissive to your parents because they brought you up. You have some duty of respect to them, right? Even if you don't like, say you fall out with your parents, say some people have fights with their father or their mother, still you have a respect duty to them. And you see that a dog is submissive to its owner and does what its owner tells him to do, the dog, because he's been fed and supported and supplied by the owner. Yeah. So Krishna is the owner of everything, and he gave you lungs and he created the air, so you're breathing only by Krishna's mercy. Everything you're doing, every moment that you enjoy something or you feel happiness, it's only by Krishna's mercy. So you have to be grateful to Krishna, because he's everything, he's giving everything. So if you're ungrateful to Krishna, then that's a very bad quality. Like if you disrespect your father or such forth, it's not good quality. Bijam mam sava bhutanam. He's a father of everyone. He's the owner of everything. He gave everything, created everything. He's everything. Okay. Sorry. If you get the mic, please. Don't make the lady walk across. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Okay, a couple of points. There was a compelling class, Prabhu. Forceful, riveting, all these things. So nice. Very deep, I find it. I was trying to pick some nuggets from it. But you mentioned taste for chanting, and I wanted to make a comment on that, that I don't know if I have taste, but I think there's something going on. But it's more like saving my neck. rather than having taste. For example, I know that chanting, if I want to stay afloat, because at the moment the current atmosphere, spiritual atmosphere, is so polluted, I have to chant to stay afloat. So I'm trying to save my neck. I don't know if it's taste, but I know it works. The other point is Vaishnava Diksha. Is it guaranteed? Does it guarantee success spiritually, or it gives you a chance of success? Because maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Prabhupada said that most of his disciples, I don't know at what point he said this, but he said they will go to the heavenly planet. So what goes on there? What's happening there in terms of success? So the thing is, does it give you a chance of success, or is it guarantee success?
Srila Prabhupada said in one purport that just as a river flows to the sea, ultimately once you've come in contact with Krishna, then you're guaranteed to reach Krishna. Well, how long it takes is another question. So we see that it's extremely difficult in Kali Yuga for people to even follow the four regular principles and become free from bad habits. So it takes a long, long time, and one must be very determined. And we see people, they leave and they come back. And like Srila Prabhupada says, many of his disciples will go to the heavenly planets simply because they've given up the path of pure bhakti and gone to a lower level. Some lower level, mixed devotion, or even given it up altogether. So, but because they came in contact with the most auspicious thing, then it seems that they become qualified to reach the heavenly planets for some time. But even that is temporary. So, it's both. There's chance and there's guarantee. It's kind of both, really. I mean, you'd have to research it more. But the determination we actually need is so huge. It sounds simple, and Prabhupada made it look easy, but it's extremely difficult for us. But if you chant 16 rounds every day, then you have much more chance of making it. Good rounds. This is the secret. But can you do it in 10 years, in 20 years, every single day, and 30 years, like that? Not so easy. Not so easy. Many devotees. Prabhupada says many Vaishnavas, they become distracted by wealth and women. And they go. Very difficult. Therefore, you have to be extremely determined, and that's the main thing you need. And you have to get knowledge all the time, and I mean, I could talk about this for ages, in a sense. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. Shri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi.